Ladies and gentlemen, Hex community of all ages, hey, Jake Freedom here coming to you live from YouTube for this week's, I don't know if I'm going to call it a quick tip or just a Hex tip. There's been a little bit of confusion on the forums that I've read about how draft play actually works, and today we are going to talk a little bit about how the draft actually works. So basically, there are 3 rounds of draft play. And how it works is each player that comes to the table, as you can see we have our table here, and sorry about the not so superb graphics, but okay, we have our table here. We have 8 players sitting around our table. Each player brings 3 booster packs to the table along with 100 platinum when you're actually in the game. Okay, and there's 3 total rounds of draft. And how it actually works is at the beginning of each round, you're going to open one of your packs, and then depending on which round it is, that determines in what direction you pass it. But since it's a digital game, that really doesn't matter to you. So let's go ahead and start with like round 1, for example. You get into the draft, everybody's there ready to go. Okay, you have your 3 booster packs sitting in front of you. You open one of them, you look through them, you take one card out of that booster pack there, and say we're round 1 here. We're going to go ahead and pass our cards clockwise. We're going to pass our cards to player 2. Player 8 would pass us his cards. So then we would have, he'd already taken a card out of his booster pack, and then we would take one out of there, so on and so forth. We'd take one out of there, then we'd pass it to our left again. Again, we would get cards from player 8, which then would have been player 7's booster pack. We continue passing those cards around the table until there are no cards left in each booster pack. Then round 2 starts. We grab our second booster pack, we open it up, we take a look at what cards are in there, we grab the card we want, we pass our cards. This time we're going to pass them to the right. We're going to go counterclockwise this time. We continue passing our cards counterclockwise around the table until there are no more cards left in round 2. By this time here, we should have 30 cards in our hand already. And then we begin with round 3. We open up our final booster pack, grab the card we want, and we pass them back, and then we're going to go clockwise again this turn. We continue doing that until there are no cards left, so by the time we're done drafting, we have a total of 45 cards in our hand that we can possibly build a deck from the actual draft. Once the draft is done, we will then be presented to the card manager in the actual game. We'll be presented with a screen that looks very similar we've all seen before. All of our cards that we picked are going to be up on top. All the cards are going to be up here that we picked, along with the all the resources. Let's turn those back on here real quick. And from there, we can build the deck that we want out of the cards that we drafted. Now, you're probably going to get some cards you don't want, which is no big deal. You're going to have 45 cards total. Typically, in a draft format, you're going to have a 40-card deck anyway. So you're only going to be using somewhere between 20 to 22, maybe 23 of those cards that you drafted anyway. So you'll just build your deck as you normally would. Put your cards down here along with your shards. Once you get your deck built and you're satisfied with it, if you have any gem-socketed cards, go ahead and socket the gems in those cards there. Then you go ahead and select your champion. Make sure it's the champion you want, then you'll be able to just save your deck. When the timer expires, you'll go ahead and you'll run into your first round from there. If you fail to save your deck, or if you fail to get a champion, if you fail to build your deck properly, the computer or the client will automatically create a deck for you. It'll do what it wants to do, and you might end up with a deck that has 135 cards. It might end up with a deck that has 190 cards. You'll have some oddball champion maybe that you didn't want. Be sure you save your deck. Be sure you select your proper champion that you want, and click save deck. The save deck button is like, hey, I am done, I'm ready to go. It's like announcing to the table, I'm good, I'm ready to rock and roll for our draft, let's get going. So just remember, there's 3 rounds of draft. That's why you bring 3 booster packs. First round, you pass to the left, which it doesn't really matter. Pass all those cards around until they're empty. Open up your second booster pack. Pick one. Pass those cards around until they're empty. Third round, open up your last booster pack. Pass those cards around until they're gone. And like I said, by the time you're done, you're going to have 45 cards in your hand to build your deck from. So hopefully that hopefully clears up some misconceptions, some questions maybe about how draft actually works and what you're supposed to do. I know the UI isn't very helpful at the moment. If you have any questions about draft, there is a draft document that I will link to in the description here that you can go ahead and take a look at and read about how the draft actually works. Any other questions, go ahead and leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to answer those. Other than that, if you liked the video, go and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos that I post in the future, go ahead and click subscribe below, and we'll have another video for you soon.